I guess one of the first move, I wasn't even born yet. It happened soon after federal government put up buildings in '49 or soon after, and almost immediately things start to change in a drastic way and fast. And I think they might think we become sometimes maybe too independent, rely on them for everything according to them. But we were fine before they came. And sometimes I think we're becoming maybe nuisance. And to make long story short, for them to fix that was to move all Ahiarmiut somewhere. And authorities choose North Henik Lake. I'm not sure why. Records show there's also some fishery going on in part of the lake, hoping for Ahiarmiut to do something over there, down there, instead of begging for food, and do something. That was maybe their plan, but it didn't work out. Badly planned, you can tell. No support when they drop off. No food, no supplies. It was, if men didn't do anything, we probably would have, or they would have all perished or died of some sort. And they said in a short stay, up to 4 people passed away, 4 elderly people perhaps. And they said it was time for everyone to walk back because they knew the route, the men from their trading days and stuff, to part of North Henik, Knowlton Lake, and also to Churchill for trading. And they walked back, and my brother and my late mother always say, my mother was pregnant with me. So that's probably why we walk so slow. Sometimes they have to put her in a little homemade accommodation and stop and rest and push her again. And Mokrunik always mentioned that too, because I remember going back to look for your family. My mother said that many times, and my brother, and he came back and found my family, helped us move back to another lake or to our usual spot. Also, many of my generations were also born in just outside of Anada Lake at Imatwa or Hicks Lake. My mother said that's where you were born, not at Knowlton Lake. The government said I was born in winter time in January 5th, 1952. They said, my mother always said, no, you were born in the fall after that walk from Knowlton Lake. We end up at Hicks Lake where you might go. That when you're born, when you see first frost of snow or something on the land, maybe October, late September, That's when you were born. So she's right, but my driving license, birth certificate, January 5th, 1952, Knowlton Lake. So those things. It was a night to remember, but not in a good way. I remember we went home to our tent after that a drum dance quickly. We were told, I guess by mom and dad, sleep with your clothes on. And I think they were scared, worried, just in case we had to leave the tent quickly. Perhaps I remember that we have to sleep in our clothes on. So that wasn't, I'm sure that wasn't recorded officially, but lots of elders remember that night. Even Ahiarmiut remember that night. She told me many times. And after all the investigations are over, after a short stay in Eskimo Point-Arviat, we hardly get to know our relatives who we related to in Arviat. I just know one person, which was my Uncle Casimir, but there were a few others. I didn't know I have other uncles on my father's side living there already before us. Then it was time to move again. They said this time to north of Eskimo Point or Arviat by boat this time, west coast of Hudson Bay, from Arviat to Whale Cove, Tavani area, which they picked all along, just like North Henik Lake was picked by government agent Henry Voicy and one of the constables from Arviat, where Ahiarmiut should set up camp on the North Henik Lake. And again, this place was picked by authorities, Whale Cove, we didn't know at the time. Then, for some reason, landing was not in favor of the captain or the driver. They reroute us to Rankin Inlet. And here we are in Rankin Inlet. Our destination was not good. Ended up in Rankin Inlet. I remember we were not far from Hudson Bay store. Tents and food ration from Hudson Bay. Each family was given things like that. We never had pop before. A late John Owlet came to our tent with a can of something like this. Very proud. Said, Serkoak, no key. Said, David, Serkoak, have a sip. I said, yeah, Dad, have a sip. He said, he warned me, there's lots of bubbles. And I tasted it, it tastes terrible. Very, very bad. But he had some more and more, all bubbly. Later on, it was a red can with a ship or something decided in the middle, red, black, decided in the middle. And later I learned it was Black Label beer. Things you can buy from Hudson Bay at the time. It was so funny. him coming, this young boy sharing with me this black label beer. It was a day to remember. And soon government said that they think we might not be going anytime soon to Whale Cove with their original plan. They moved us away to just 2 kilometers, maybe 3 kilometers from Rankin, to called Itivia, and where they put sacks almost overnight for family, start a little cooperative arts and crafts, a little corner store. There's something funny about it. The authorities shipped 2 families from northern Quebec to Rankin, to Itivia, to be with us, to look after us and train men and women about arts and crafts and settling into the coastal life. Women sewing like they don't know sewing before, with near garments and stuff. I remember the families well because their kids become our friends. I remember Simon, I remember Alice. They were older than me. Simon was a really good friend with my brother. And Mokrung become good friends with, I think, Daniel Kamalo. One time I was visiting Ahiarmiut. He reached out for his wallet and showed me a name, Daniel Kamalo, and a phone number. He said, "We still have phone." That was back not too long, I mean, before he died. But it's very interesting. When we were all introduced to school, one-room school was all for Ahiarmiut kids. All seemed like they all in kindergarten, even big kids, big boys were in the same learning and sit down, stand up, all these command words. And I don't remember my first teacher, but my research at Lucille, the wife of the government agent looking after us, Peter Murdoch, said it was time for us to pack and move again, this time from Rankin south to hand-picked place by the government officials. The contractor was Hakuluk, gentleman from Rankin, who was a longliner, and he remember that day trip going to Hills Gate, just going to Whale Cove. Instead of touring the long point, he went to make a shortcut through Hills Gate. And the tide was going out, and we got stuck in that big boat. We waited the same long time until tides come up, and it was short ride to our newfound land, Whale Cove. And not far from Whale Cove, at the very tip of the point, Turn Point area, lives Voices, Louis Voices, Sam Voices, Rosie Voices, the family related to Henry Voices from Hudson Bay Post. And Whale Cove was just tundra, lots of rocks compared to our Anada Lake area, North Henik Lake. Rankin, this place is full of rock, lots of rocks everywhere, and very little green. And this is the place where you're going to be. So 59, 58, 59, my family lived in Whale Cove. Then in '69, we finally moved back to Arviat or Eskimo Point on our free will. We don't have to ask permission of anyone. We finally moved back to be with brothers and sisters of my parents, uncles and aunts, and other Ahiarmiut were living there already. And my parents lived there until they died, and from '69 on in Arviat. I remember the move. We were by Skidoo. My mother, Kahok, and father, Mickey, brother Silas, and me. Not sure about my sister. I think she was married already. And I remember the trip. My brother was getting tired of driving. He asked me, "No ka Skidoo lahon?" He said, well, he called me young brother. "Brother, you drive now?" I said, "No." Flat no. I said, "Attack." It's the father. My father took the controls, which he never touched any kind of machinery before. And he pulled that little father full plots right away. And good thing rope didn't snap. And we start going very, 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 very fast. Every second it seemed faster and faster. My brother, me, my mother, you're all yelling, but he couldn't hear us. We dragged our feet, finally slowed down a bit, and my brother run like there's no tomorrow and tapped him. "No, let it stop." We thought going to end the day here. Boy, my mother was so mad. He's much louder, very much louder than my father, who is very quiet. She gave it to him. I remember laughing. My brother was laughing, but the two were not. So it was. I think that's the first and last time my father touched a skidoo. Then from there, they get into the carving, which they started in Rankin very briefly, and for 10 years, 59 to '69, they were also carving to bring in food for tomorrow. And also my father likes to walk. He never have a dog team. Maybe he didn't on a lake, but my brother, who was a young man in the '60s, learned to get dogs, have a dog team. And my father walks 2 miles, 3 miles every day to check a trap line. And every so often he would bring a fox or two. We were almost like clapping. We're so happy that we all get food from the store after he skinned them and stuff. And also when government officials were coming more frequently, they always asked him to be the maintenance man, to clean the floors, wash dishes, get ice. There was good employment. Every so often he would do that. He's safe enough. We don't know how much, but went to Rankin to buy a boat and motor for my brother. I remember that. Oh, it was good, very, very good. So after we moved to Whale, to Eskimo Point-Arviat, that's also I realized I need to get some education. Or I'm a young man now, into smoking. I mean, need to support cigarettes and chewing tobacco and booze to come later. I mean, go things. Looking for a job was hard with elementary school education. And in Cove, from 59 to 69, all my age group went to school very fast. I mean, teach these young Ahiarmiut, it seems like fast as possible. Get their uniqueness out of the way, teach them more English, teach them about lifestyle in South. Our readers like Fun with Dick and Jane, those readers, see, spot, run. So those, I mean, were everyday things. We learn how to talk, see, spot, run. I mean, try to talk like that. It was, or cowboy, Sam the cowboy. I mean, hands up, pick him up, Cowboy Joe. I mean, those saying. We thought, well, we learn English. Yeah, count to 10. Yeah, we learn English. It was very funny at the time. And of course, every time you come to school in the morning, opens the door, Miss Stromberg or Mrs. Stevenson or Mr. Jenkins says, no Eskimo, no talk, only English. So those were things every day for all of us. There were other kids from coast to coast. They went to the same every day. No talking in Eskimo. Don't share your culture. But if you get caught, then penalties are stay in for recess, stay in after school. Many times you get a strap on hand like this, either way or this way, or on your back, or with a yardstick, or with a book on top of your head, or stand in the corner, sometimes feeding your class in the front with your hands like this until you're almost about you're tired. Those were common to some of us, especially for bad dudes like me, who do unpleasant things at recess time. I thought I was okay until I checked my old records from Indian Day School. Some of the comments that my teacher said at the time, no, I believe.